Now that billionaire Michael Bloomberg is officially in the presidential race for 2020, let's talk about his 10 most desired gun control laws that he hopes to put in place if he is elected president. Stick by and watch this one. Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets. It is Monday, December 2nd, 2019. It is the Monday Morning Grind brought to you by Blackout Coffee. Yeah, Michael Bloomberg, the billionaire whose sole purpose in life is to get rid of the Second Amendment. He funds Everytown for gun safety. He funds Moms Demand Action. He bought the Democratic win in Virginia, single-handedly put all the money up to turn that state. And he is now officially running for president of the United States. Now, if you're not familiar with Michael Bloomberg, maybe you live somewhere in the country where you don't really care about him, you need to pay attention, okay? This guy is hell-bent on getting rid of the Second Amendment, and I'm going to tell you about the 10 things that he wants to institute. Number one would be universal background checks. Now, universal background checks, the left wants you to think that that this will save the world and will stop violent crime and will stop the mass shootings. When in fact, over the last decade, just about every single mass shooter has passed a background check, with the exception of a couple who stole the guns, and background checks don't stop larcenies. But this is something they're pushing for, because if you peel back the onion layers of this universal background check proposal, it's a gun registration. Number two is the assault weapons ban. Bloomberg has been huge on banning assault weapons, even though there's no such thing. And even the New York Times admitted it was a made-up term years ago for politics. However, he wants to ban AKs and ARs and similar type weapons because he believes that they kill too many people, when all the FBI studies show that handguns kill more people than rifles, and hammers have killed more people than rifles, as have fists and feet. But we're going to go after the rifles. Probably because tyrants fear rifles, because you can reach out and touch them further when you're taking back control of your country. Number three is gun trafficking legislation. I don't even know why he does this. Well, probably because he comes from New York, and New York makes a habit of blaming everybody else for their problems, and firearms is no different. Apparently his camp is unaware that there are already laws on the books that prohibit firearms trafficking and straw purchases, which is one of the reasons he wants this legislation to go through. It already exists. Number four is the ban on high-capacity magazines. What he's really not telling you is their version of high capacity includes the standard capacity magazines that every manufacturer supplies with their guns. Anything above 10 rounds in these leftists' mind make you a crazy assassin that can just mow down tons and tons of people. Apparently they haven't seen Jerry Mitchell shoot, or even have done a reload drill. The size of the amount of rounds in a magazine don't stop crime. What they do is they reduce one individual's ability to defend themselves. So limiting round counts in magazines actually reduces the ability of people to defend themselves and puts you at risk. Number five is the war on gun shows. These leftists and Bloomberg want to stop gun shows because they want you to believe that this is where all of the bad guys or the criminals or even the mass shooters get their firearms. It's already been proved that's not the case, but what this is lingo for, this war on the gun show, is that they actually want to ban private sales of firearms. That's right. They want to take away my ability to sell one to somebody else, or my ability to buy one at a convenient location. And that's what they really want to stop. Number six is one that people don't often talk about, and that's he wants to expand or add how many people are on the prohibited list for the federal government. If you're federally prohibited, you can't buy a firearm, you can't pass the background check. These people want to add more to that list, just like Obama did as he was running out of office. Anybody who had SSI for reasons such as they couldn't control their own checkbook, or they had sought some type of help for PTSD when they came home from overseas fighting for our freedom, those were the things that Obama did and put that in place so that they wouldn't be able to get their guns and stuff like that they wanted to buy. That is one of the good things that Trump did rescind almost immediately upon getting to office, but Bloomberg wants that back, and he wants it back in a bad way. Number seven is the red flag law. If you don't know what it is by now, you've been living under a rock. Shame on you. Watch that list of videos I have floating above my head right now in that card. The red flag law is the most illegal, unconstitutional law ever to be submitted, and some states are dumb enough to pass it. There are 15 states right now, including D.C., and it violates all kinds of our civil rights, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the Sixth Amendment. Just watch some of those videos. It'll get you way up to speed, and Bloomberg is the person who single-handedly funded every single bill that went to every single state for the red flag. This is the man who did it. Number 8, Michael Bloomberg opposes national reciprocity. He's okay with giving licenses to people from Uruguay who are here illegal, or people from Brazil who are here illegally. It's okay for them to drive all around the country illegally, but those of us who have our Second Amendment right that is recognized by the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, he doesn't want my right to extend past that dotted line in a map. In fact, he's the former mayor of New York City, where they violated people's rights to the point where you couldn't even leave the city if you were lucky enough to have a concealed carry permit in New York City. You couldn't leave the city. That case is going to be heard today by the United States Supreme Court. The oral arguments start today on that case, so that could be huge. But Michael Bloomberg wants to make sure that nobody recognizes your permit to carry, even though permits are illegal. He wants to make sure nobody recognizes any other state's permit. Number 9, Michael Bloomberg opposes campus carry in a big way. He doesn't want you to know that all those states who are passing campus carry are seeing a vast reduction in crime and violent crime, but he doesn't want you to know that because on college campuses are where they get to instill their agenda, their, leftist regime. It's often on college campuses, and we can't have freedom there. And number 10, it goes hand in hand with the campus carry, is he opposes teachers being armed because who else could, protect your little one in the immediate other than somebody who's there armed as a teacher, right? Let's wait for people to come from distances, because when seconds count, police are only minutes away. I would rather have somebody who's trained right there when the attack is happening to take out the attacker rather than let him do what he wants until somebody comes. Now, what you might be saying after you heard all 10 of those is, every one of those has to do with us law-abiding gun owners. And you'd be right. Part of his big agenda is to disarm us and to empower the criminal so that he keeps getting his votes, his Democrats keep getting their votes. And that's the way it's been going for a couple decades. Hopefully, with what's going on in Virginia, they have poked the bear enough to where we wake up. Those of us who have often said, it doesn't bother me personally, I don't live in that state, or, those people, they get what they deserve, or why would anybody want to live there anyway? It's happening across the country. It's spreading. And if Bloomberg wins the presidency, which I really don't think he will, but if he has any chance to do it, this is going to be national, and we don't want that to happen. I've already done a video on Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren on what they plan to do when it comes to gun control should they win. But now I figured I'd do it on Michael Bloomberg, since he has got himself in the ring now and in the running for president. So that is the news for this Monday, the Monday Morning Grind, brought to you by Blackout Coffee. If you could do me a solid, pass this around. Give it a thumbs up here on YouTube, because this really helps people see the video, because the shadow ban is alive and well. And until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, carry a weapon, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and have a great day. Take care, everybody.